Hi, Kristen from the future here. I am doing an end of the year viewer survey. Just think that it's a really good idea so that I could get to know what it is, like what kind of content you guys like seeing the most so that I can better plan what I'm going to do in 2018. So if you can please take my viewer survey, I will be ever so grateful to you. There's a link down below and it should probably take between 5 to 10 minutes. Most of the questions are multiple choice and I just really would appreciate your feedback. So thank you so much for taking it, and also thank you for watching my videos. Hello bookworms! Today I'm going to be doing my November book haul, and I have 6 giant piles of books sitting next to me. So I have once again impulsively decided to split up my book haul into like new releases and backlist books and then a separate book haul of classics, because while I didn't do that last month, I had to edit like 30 minutes worth of footage and I was just like, nah, I'm gonna split it up next time. So that's what we're gonna do. As always, I'm gonna start with the new releases and then I'll show you the backlist books that I picked up. I got some stuff off of Book Outlet. So the first book that I have to show you is the beautiful 10th anniversary edition of City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. This is probably my least favorite Cassandra Clare book that I have ever read, but this is gorgeous and it has gold pages. Like the back is really pretty and it's cloth bound, which I really enjoy. And then also on the inside, there's fan art. That side, I think there might be artwork throughout it. Yeah. Oh, I opened up to Magnus Bane, who I love. That was a really good flip through there. It's like full of art. It's so gorgeous. And I really love the Shadowhunter world. So while this book is definitely not my favorite by any means, I really hope that they do this with the rest of the Mortal Instruments series and the Infernal Devices series. I already love the Waterstones editions of the Dark Artifices series, so if I could have like a really pretty Shadowhunter shelf, I would be really happy. Then I have a tiny little book, and it is Almost Midnight by Rainbow Rowell, and this is a, I was gonna say collection, but it's only 2 short stories. It's 2 of the short stories that she wrote. One of them is the one that was in the My True Love Gave to Me anthology, and then the other one is Kindred Spirits. They took both of those and they published them together in this one little collectible edition, and it's glittery. So yeah, I needed that. It's really tiny, like compared to other books. It's like a tiny little mini book, but it's so pretty. I really loved her holiday short story. The Kindred Spirits one I thought was okay. It wasn't my favorite, but I really loved the holiday one, and I just love this cover. Next, I have Renegades by Marissa Meyer, and actually have a signed copy by Marissa Meyer. So I have mentioned on here a couple of times that there is this website that I really love called Good Choice Reading, and they will often host virtual book signings. So if you buy the book through them, you can actually get your book personalized by the author, which I think is so great because sometimes authors don't come to certain towns for signings, but you really want like that signed book for your collection. So Marissa Meyer is someone that I would love to have all of her books signed. So I immediately signed up and got this one. This is the Barnes & Noble special edition. They always do everything through Barnes & Noble. So I have already read this one. I've already reviewed it, so you guys should know what it's about. It was really enjoyable and I'm really happy to have this. And then also just quickly while I'm talking about Good Choice Reading, they are doing a virtual signing for Holly Black's new book, The Cruel Prince, which you guys know is my favorite book because I just pretty much say it in every video. So I immediately ordered that one, and then also Barnes & Noble actually has an exclusive cover of The Cruel Prince, so it's a black cover and it's really pretty, and I highly recommend going and pre-ordering a copy from them because like, what is better than signed books? Next up, I got Foolish Hearts by Emma Mills, and this one actually doesn't come out until December 5th, but I am doing the Storygram tour for it, which is kind of like a blog tour, but it's on Instagram, and I was really anticipating this one, and I already read it, and I loved it so much, so you will hear a lot about this one in my wrap-up, but it follows a girl in high school, and she's working on a high school play of A Midsummer Night's Dream by Shakespeare, and it's just about her and the rest of the kids that are in theater together and their experiences, and it's just like so enjoyable. And then as always, Emma Mills's books are always beautiful, so you've got black and pink under the cover and on the spine, and I really love this one. I was so sad when it was over. Then I got The Glass Spare by Lauren DeStefano, and this is the Owl Crate exclusive cover. So this one you probably saw it in my Owl Crate unboxing video. And this follows a girl who has the ability to turn people into gemstones, which sounds pretty interesting. This book actually hadn't really been on my radar, so I was pretty excited when it showed up because I wouldn't have picked it up myself otherwise. But now that I've like read the premise, I'm like, sounds like it has potential. Then I have Brooding YA Hero, which is the funniest Twitter account in my opinion. I've been following this Twitter account for years because it's hilarious, and it's just all like the stereotypical things that young adult male heroes tend to have in common, and it's the brooding ones, so it's like the sad, like, you know, complainy, emo kind of ones. And I just have always found their tweets to be so funny. So when Sky Pony Press reached out and asked if I wanted a copy, I was like, yes, definitely. This Twitter account is hilarious. So I'm really looking forward to reading this one when I need like a good laugh. Then I got an arc of Children of Blood and Bone. This is by Tony Adeyemi, and this just came in like the coolest box ever. So this is actually a box, and then here we have the author's name. On the other side, it says the title, which is Children of Blood and Bone. And then on the back, it says, they killed my mother, they took our magic, they tried to bury us, now we rise. This is a new release that's coming out on March 6th of 2018. So the premise sounds really good to me. I mean, just judging from that like tagline there, but I'm pretty excited to read this one. And it's also huge, which I love. I love a good, thick, long fantasy, so I'm really looking forward to delving into this one, probably in like January. Next, I got the illustrated edition of Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them by J.K. Rowling. I think this was pretty obviously going to show up in my haul this month. The one thing that bothers me is that it's not the same size as the illustrated Harry Potter series. It's taller, so that's a little bit annoying, but otherwise I think that this is beautiful. I also really like that it doesn't have a dust jacket. This is just on the hardcover, so that is a nice feature. Ooh, a unicorn. I feel like everyone knows what this is. Then speaking of giant, enormous, wonderful books that would also be great gifts, I got this monster, which is Middle-earth from Script to Screen, Building the World of the Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, and this is so heavy. If you flip through it, it has all images from the films, it has like images of the map of Middle-earth, and it goes really in depth about like everything that went into adapting this amazing series. And look at the back, and there's the Eye of Sauron. It is like definitely one that Lord of the Rings fans need in their collection. I'm so excited to have this. I got my copy on Amazon for half the price of what it is marked because it is giant and expensive. It's like $75, and on Amazon it was, I want to say like $40 or $45, so that was a good deal. The next book that I have to show you is This Mortal Coil by Emily Sudava, and this one was sent to me by Simon & Schuster, and I was really excited to receive this because it's a sci-fi novel, but it's not like a space sci-fi novel. It's more of like a biological thriller, and it's about this girl who is able to hack DNA, and it deals with like biology and a probably corrupt corporation, and it just sounds like it's going to be so up my alley. I tend to love sci-fi that has more of like a biological aspect to it, so I am thrilled to read this one. Then I have another Lord of the Rings book, and that is The Heroes of Tolkien by David Day. So this has been a little series of books, and I've showed you the other three that are already out in a previous book haul, so this is the fourth one, and this just came out in November. It's blue, the other ones are green, brown, and red. So they look very nice together, and there's a lot of Gandalf! There's a lot of illustrations, and this one just goes like really in depth into the characters, and the other ones, I think there's one all about the battles, there's one all about maps, and can't remember what the third one is about, but I'm excited to add this one to my collection. Then there is a UK publisher that has been printing like really beautiful 10th anniversary editions of adult fantasy novels, and I already have the ones for Mistborn and for The Lies of Locke Lamora, and whenever I hold those up in videos, a lot of you guys ask me where I got them, and the answer is Book Depository. But they just came out with 2 more, so I got Red Seas Under Red Skies, which is the second book in the Gentleman Bastard series by Scott Lynch, and I'm planning on reading this probably next year in 2018, because I don't think that I'll get to it in December, but I really love the first book in the series, and I also now am even more motivated to read the second one because I love the look of this book. And then the other one that they came out with is The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss, and as you probably know, Name of the Wind is one of my favorite books, and I can't even tell you how many copies of it I have now, but I love this. It's so pretty, and I'm really excited to have it. Then Disney Hyperion was kind enough to send me a copy of Arusha and The End of Time, and this book has been on my radar since it's been announced. It's the first book that's debuting from the Rick Riordan imprint, and it's called Rick Riordan Presents. So this book is by Roshani Chokshi, who wrote The Star-Touched Queen and A Crown of Wishes. This is a middle grade fantasy, but the reason that I have been so interested in this one is because, you know, like they'll do like comp titles, so they're saying that this book is Percy Jackson meets Sailor Moon. So I'm like really looking forward to reading this one. Then Crown Publishing sent me a copy of The Roanoke Girls for free, and I really appreciate that. I've been wanting to read this one for a while. This is an adult thriller. It's actually shorter than I was expecting, but I heard Sarah from Without an H talk about it, and ever since then, it's been a book that I've had on my to-read list for a while, and it just came out in the paperback version, so I'm pretty excited to get to this one. Then I got another really pretty big book, and that is The Fairy Handbook. It is an enchanting compendium of literature, lore, art, recipes, and projects from the editors of Fairy Magazine. I did not know that there was a Fairy Magazine, but I am definitely going to be looking that up when I finish filming this video. As you guys know, I love fairies so much, so first of all, this book is beautiful, but just from the title of it, I was like, I need that. I saw a postcard with a cover on it at New York Comic Con, and that's how I found out about it, and I immediately pre-ordered it. It's so pretty. It has silver pages, and then even the back too is really pretty, and it's another, oh, it's Harper Design. It's another one of those like cloth bound hardbacks, and it's gorgeous. Then I got 2 holiday books, the first one being Mr. Dickens and His Carol by Samantha Silva, and this is a book that takes place in Victorian London, and it follows Charles Dickens, and it takes place during the time when he's writing A Christmas Carol, so it sounds like it's gonna be really interesting. And I also got The Deal of a Lifetime by Frederick Bachman. This, I have no idea what it's about, but it's a really short little novella, and it's holiday themed, and there's illustrations in it, so I will definitely be reading this like within a day. Now, some of the Backlist books that I got, I'm gonna try to go through a little bit quicker, because there's a lot going on here. So first of all, I got Written in Red by Anne Bishop. I don't like werewolves, and I was always under the impression that this series was like just about werewolves, and then my friend Rachel told me that that is not the case, and she kind of convinced me that I should read it and got me like more excited for it, so I ended up picking up a copy of this. And I also got the second book in that series, and that is called Murder of Crows. This series is called The Others, and it's like adult urban fantasy, and I really haven't read any urban fantasy in a long time, so I kind of am looking forward to getting into these. Then I have kind of an annoying purchase, and that is the All Souls trilogy by Deborah Harkness. So I already have these books, and I could swear that I saw them in a box in my apartment like maybe 2 months ago, and since that night I have been searching everywhere for them, and I cannot find them. Like, they're just gone. They just disappeared somehow. So I got new copies of them because I really want to go back and read them. I've read the first one, which is A Discovery of Witches, and this is actually being adapted in the UK. And I really enjoyed this first book, but I just never read the next 2, and I don't know why, so I need to do that. The second one is Shadow of Nights, and the third one is The Book of Life. Normally, I wouldn't ever just rebuy an entire series like that in hardcover that I could swear I already saw in my apartment in hardcover, but I ended up getting the third book off of Book Outlet, and it was like pretty inexpensive. I want to say it was like $6 for the hardcover. And I also know that for some reason my first 2 books, Discovery of Witches and Shadow of Night, were shorter than the third book, which bothered me anyway. So I was like, you know what? I'll just get them, and then if I find the other ones, I'll give them to one of my friends that I know wants to read it. So if they turn up, someone will be getting very lucky. Then I have A Conspiracy in Belgravia by Sherry Thomas, and this is the second book in the Lady, oh, I was right. It's the second book in the Lady Sherlock series, the first one being A Study in Scarlet Women, and I read that one in November and I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to reading the second one very soon. Can't tell you what this is about, but it's really fun. I got Bird Box by Josh Malerman, and this is another Sarah without an H thriller recommendation, so I'm looking forward to reading this one. This is also like much shorter than I was expecting. I might pick it up in December. Then I got What Alice Forgot by Leanne Moriarty. I read Big Little Lies last month and I loved it, and I immediately asked Heather from Bookables her recommendations for other Leanne Moriarty books because I know that she's read, I think, all of them. So I asked her what is another good one to read, and she recommended this one, so I picked it up and I'm looking forward to reading it. I think it follows a woman who is like in her 20s, she's loving life, and she's met like the love of her life, and they're getting married and they're so happy, and then she wakes up in the hospital 10 years later with no memory of anything that happened in the past 10 years and finds out that she has 2 children and she's like on the brink of divorce, and she needs to figure out like how she went from having this perfect life to having this like broken life that she can't even remember. Then I got some books from Book Outlet that are like totally outside my wheelhouse. So I have never read a historical romance novel, and a lot of my friends are really into them, so I figured that I would give them a shot, and I picked up the Wallflowers series by Lisa Klepes, and my friend Alexa is obsessed with them, and Shannon from CanterburyRoadCo, and I'm looking forward to seeing if I like these. These were on Book Outlet, so I got them for a good price. The first one is Secrets of a Summer Night. The second one is It Happened One Autumn. The third one is Devil in Winter. And the fourth one is Scandal in Spring. And I really like how they're like each based on a season. And then I couldn't get all of those without getting A Wallflower Christmas, which is like a novella, I believe, about all of the characters in this Wallflower series. And I just love Christmas, so I'm kind of a sucker for Christmas things. Next, I picked up The Kept Woman by Karen Slaughter. I've been hearing Karen Slaughter's name a lot on BookTube recently. I think it's a different book. I think it's called The Good Daughter, maybe? That is like her new release that people are really loving. So I saw this one on Book Outlet. I thought that I would give it a shot. I picked it up. I really don't know what it's about, but if I enjoy it, then I might pick up her newest release as well. I'm just going to show you these last couple of books really quick because this has gotten long enough that if I were to film my classics book haul with this, I would be editing for the rest of my life. I also got The Masked City by Genevieve Cogman. This is the second book in the Invisible Library series. I showed you guys the first book from my last book haul, and this one was on Book Outlet, so I decided to pick it up while it was there. I also got All the Missing Girls by Megan Miranda. This is another thriller novel. As you can see, I've been kind of like getting more into thrillers lately, so I have not read anything from this author yet. She also came out with a YA book this month called Fragments of the Lost, I think, and I will potentially pick that one up if I like this one. Then I have Arabella of Mars by David D. Levine, and this is a sci-fi novel that I got from Book Outlet, and I heard Victoria Shaw's talking about this book and Joss from Squibbles Reads, and both of them really loved it, so they were actually the ones that got me interested in this and got me looking for it online, and I was really excited when I saw it on Book Outlet. And I got The Queen of Blood by Sarah Beth Durst. This is the first book in the series. I think the second one either came out recently or is coming out very soon, and it's a fantasy novel, so it was a no-brainer. Then I got Jane Steele by Lindsay Fay, and this is another book that I heard about from Joss from Squibbles Reads' channel, and I'm really looking forward to reading this one. I think it's like a modern day retelling of Jane Eyre, except she's maybe a murderer. I think that's what I remember from it. And there's knives and stuff on the cover, so that sounds like it could be the synopsis. So that's it. I'm finally done with the new releases and backlist books that I picked up. I'm now going to film my classics haul, and then I'm going to edit forever. So these are the many books that I picked up in November. Let me know if you've read any of them. Let me know if you're excited for any of them. I really thought I was going to have a smaller haul this month since there weren't too many new releases, and a lot of the books that I got were like backlist books, but I just never managed to like chill with book buying. It just doesn't happen, so whatever. So that is all that I have for this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys soon in a new one. Bye!